Amanda, you are a two-time technology company founder. You founded 6sense in I think 2012, and then 1mind much more recently in the post-Chat GPT era. Tell me what it was like to start a company now in the age of AI compared to in the age of cloud computing and SaaS.
I mean, there are a lot of similarities and there's a lot of differences. So when we think about coming up with the problem statement that you're solving, those are all the same, right? Okay. You had to find a big problem and go out and solve it. The difference is how we actually build a company and all the metrics and the alignment that we need across the organization and the growth trajectory of the company, right? So the expectations of venture today for an AI company versus the expectations of venture for a SaaS native company is exponentially different and wildly exciting because it's all possible.
More pressure on you though.
More pressure, but I feel less pressure because doing it a second time around, the first time I thought I knew everything and I knew nothing. And this time around, I feel like I know something, and the more I know I don't know. And if that makes any sense. So I realized the more I want to lean on my investors and lean on my network and my community, whereas at 6sense, I think I had to prove that I knew it. And so it just feels so much easier and I'm giving myself so much more grace.
Okay, all right, well that's good. Both these companies sell into broadly speaking, the go-to-market sector. They're technology for sales. Tell me about how they're different because sales has obviously changed dramatically in the last 10 years.
I talked to some friends who are wanting to be founders and what problem am I going to solve? You have to stay in your lane and you have to stay in what you've known. This is my third go-to-market company. My first was a 16-year services business. And I like to say I started 6sense to find buyers and now 1mind to close them. So I have unfinished business for go-to-market and something it's a world that I know incredibly well, which has given me, to be quite transparent, a huge leg up in this next chapter. It opens doors, but it doesn't close the door. It doesn't get the business. You still have to have product market fit and have something, but it will get me the meeting with CMOs and CROs in our world.
That's great. That's great. For people who haven't seen your product in action and know about it, it is amazing. It is a very human-like, lifelike AI agent that is selling. When you first look at, the one I've seen is called Mindy. When you first see Mindy, you're sort of like, wow, can Mindy actually close a deal? But I understand that people stay on with Mindy for a long time, maybe even longer than a person. So how exactly does it work and how do you overcome objections to people who think, oh my gosh, a non-human cannot close a sale?
Yeah, so it's interesting that you bring up the lifelike portion of it. That actually is not what we're leaning into.
Okay.
We have the face. The face drives engagement. It helps with top of funnel and gets somebody to click on the darn thing and have a conversation. But really what makes us unique and special is the ability to have these rich, solution-oriented, empathetic conversations. If you think when you're trying to come in and solve the problem of your buyer, you have to have these vertical specific teams and sales engineers and solutions engineers. And unfortunately, humans have capacity, time, and recall limitations. So this opens up a world where AI doesn't have those limitations. So they can truly solution in a way a human never could. So what I get most excited about is not that it's doing the job of the human, it's exponentially better than a human and really understanding buyers. And so one of the things I always get really quick, people say, well, will the AI hallucinate? And people buy from people. And the first thing I retort back is, do your salespeople hallucinate? And do they do so knowingly and nefariously to get the deal done? Now, I'm not saying these are bad people, but we're just trying to move the deal and progress forward. And they don't have the tools to answer those questions. And so the AI won't do that. And so if you have application-specific AI on tight guardrails, it's not going to hallucinate. The likelihood is exponentially less than a human. And buyers love it because they have control. So we're giving the control back to the buyer from the seller.
And as you said, buyers love it. Do you want to talk a little bit about some of the early traction that the company has seen?
It's wild.
Okay.
Yeah, so we've been in market for 19 months and we are basically at the same revenue I was at 6sense year 6, I think it was. The things that get me really excited is not just that we're growing and people are buying, but it's the expansion within the accounts. It's the multi-year deals. It's the size. Our ACV is in the double digit, 6 figures. And the impact that they're seeing. So at the end of the day, we are driving revenue. We are not here to solve efficiency gains. We are here to solve a revenue problem or opportunity, if you will, and who doesn't have a revenue opportunity?
Right. Okay. Well, I don't have to tell you, final question, that there are not so many female founders out there in Silicon Valley and in tech. So we're really glad to be partnering with you for a second time at Battery. But I know that both at work and outside of work, you're very passionate about advancing the issues related to women and girls. Maybe tell us a little bit about why that's so important to you and some of the things you've done to help advance that.
Yeah, about 12 years ago, I got clear on my personal mission statement. Mm-hmm. So while I'm in tech and I'm doing the things that all these other tech founders are doing, I needed to have like my why. And so my why was I'm a passionate, positive, spiritual warrior to empower women and girls. And that's my personal mission statement. And I'm doing it by showing them that they can do it too. So while I have deep obligations to my investors and to my employees, I actually feel a greater sense of needing to do this and to be successful for all women. And so if I can show them, less than 1% of CEO founders go on to ring the bell are women.
Wow.
1%. And so, it's like 3 or 4% CEOs that are women in general, and especially in enterprise tech and in AI. So I am doing this to show them that they can do it.
All right. Well, we're super happy to see that and really glad to be partnering with you again. Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you. Yes.